Hello and welcome to session 6 of our CMF Kairos security briefing series. Today we are going to review some of the key points of the last 5 security briefings to make sure we are ready to enter the prison next week. And since this is all a repeat of previous security briefing material, we will endeavor to add some humor and make this a little bit lighter and perhaps more memorable than usual, trusting that you will continue to take the principles themselves very seriously. This briefing is, in some sense, your final exam. I am going to be asking you a series of questions, and I'm hoping to hear the right answers from you based on all of the security discussions we have had over the last 6 weeks. The first question is, which of the following is properly dressed for a Kairos weekend? Well, I hope we can all agree that Lady Gaga's meat dress does not meet the dress standards for entry into CMF Vacaville. This is Walt and Jesse from the TV series Breaking Bad, and the attire you currently see them in is their wardrobe for operating a meth lab. It's probably fair to say that any clothes you might wear while cooking up methamphetamines are not going to work well for you when trying to enter CMF Vacaville as a volunteer. And here we have 2 longtime Kairos volunteers who are dressed in perfect compliance with CMF guidelines. They have collared shirts, nothing blue or denim, nothing gray, nothing flashy or gaudy. They are also wearing their name tags and have their whistles. In summary, we must not wear anything resembling inmate clothing, including anything denim, anything blue, or anything resembling surgical scrubs. We must also not wear anything resembling correctional officer clothing, including any uniform-style shirts and olive drab colors. While there may be some fuzzy areas, always go with the safe choices: red, green, tan, white, and black-colored clothing. You do not want to be turned away at the gate. Remember not to wear anything loud or distinctive, or anything with flashy logos or insignia. And if you wear a sweater or a jacket, which you most likely will in November, please remember to keep it under your control at all times. This can include storing it in the chaplain's office as directed by your team leadership, but you may never leave a clothing item on the back of your chair while walking around the chapel. My next question is, which of the following items are okay to bring inside the institution? Let's confirm one more time what you should bring into the prison: your driver's license, your car key, your whistle, your Kairos name tag, and any prescribed medication. That's it, nothing more. And again, please make sure that your driver's license has not expired. The next subject is to determine which of the following are actually against the law. How about giving or taking letters from inmates? Yes, it is against the law, in addition to violating CMF and Kairos policies. There is no room for discretion here. What about giving personal contact information to inmates? No, this is not against the law, but as we have explained before, it is always a very bad idea and is something we strongly urge you to avoid doing. What about having a gun with a gun lock in the trunk of your car? Yes, this is against state law, even if you routinely do this elsewhere and consider it to be absolutely safe. What about running on prison grounds? No, this is not a crime, but is still a bad idea because it attracts the alarmed attention of multiple armed correctional officers, and they do not appreciate any unnecessary distractions. What about bringing a sharpened number 2 pencil into the prison? No, this is not against the law, but the CMF authorities have asked us to only bring in the short, stubby golf pencils that we use, which are much harder to use as a weapon. What about wearing blue surgical scrubs? No, this does not violate state law, but it does violate CMF policy concerning visitor attire. And finally, what about giving rolling paper to an inmate? Yes, because this could be classified as drug paraphernalia, it would constitute a violation of state law. As always, go back to our mantra of nothing in, nothing out, and all of these questions would become moot. Now let's imagine that an inmate motions you aside during the weekend and asks if you can send this very important personal letter to his girlfriend. Which of the following is an appropriate response? No problem, dude. And why don't I give you my home phone number as well, so that you can call me and remind me? Well, this response contains at least 2 problems. It would be a violation of the law and of policy, and it would also provide more personal information than is advisable in our work inside the prison. Hopefully, nobody's response would even come close to this one. You blow your whistle, immediately bringing a group of 25 correctional officers storming into the chapel with batons raised and pepper spray at the ready. Well, this would certainly be an overreaction. While the request is inappropriate, it is not a physical threat and certainly does not call for the assistance of correctional officers or anyone else for that matter. This kind of request is not unusual and is well within your ability to handle with the right demeanor and choice of words. You look the inmate in the eye, smile softly, and say, "You know I cannot do that." This is probably the most appropriate response that you can give. He knows the rules and will not be surprised by this response. Moreover, you are not being accusatory or insulting to the inmate. You are not panicking. It prevents wrongdoing while preserving a relationship of mutual trust and respect between you and the inmate. Here is another scenario. An inmate at your table says, "I'm not getting out of here. I'm here for life." Which of the following is an appropriate response? You look shocked, and say, "Damn, dude, what did you do? Kill somebody?" In addition to being highly insensitive, this violates the principle that we never want to ask anyone why they are in prison. They will sometimes share such personal information with you after they get comfortable with you, but we never try to draw this out of them. You nod your head and say, "I know exactly how you feel. After my heart surgery, I thought they would never let me out of the hospital. Do you want to see my scar?" Well, this is not an appropriate response for a couple of reasons. First of all, we do not really know how the inmate feels, and it is absurd to try to equate our problems with theirs. This is a good way to lose credibility with them. Second, we want the focus to be on the inmate's story, not our story. So making our response about us, rather than about them, works against everything we're trying to do to teach the men to share themselves with others and to learn to become part of a Christian community with others. You nod your head, you maintain eye contact, and ask, "How does this make you feel?" Well, this reply may seem a bit corny, but it does illustrate the value of responding with an open-ended question that causes the inmate to talk more, and which removes the focus from your response or thoughts on the matter. This is the best way to keep the inmate talking and sharing while you listen, love, love. You might also be looking for nonverbal clues to see what the inmate is saying with this statement. He may be starting the grieving process or finally accepting reality and starting to change how he will live with this reality moving forward. These impressions may also influence what you would say, but also you want to keep the focus on the inmate and to draw him into dialogue and fellowship with the table family. We have covered a lot of material over the last 6 weeks. We know you may not always remember everything that we have covered, but if you remember a few core principles, they will give you the wisdom and guidance that you always need to overcome uncertainties or unexpected situations. The first of these guiding principles is to listen, love, love. Always try to avoid placing your story in the spotlight. Try to shift the focus of any discussion toward the inmates with open-ended questions and genuine interest that draws them out of their shell and encourages openness and honesty on their part. The second guiding principle is nothing in, nothing out. This principle covers a multitude of potential problems. If we follow this one principle, it would become very difficult to violate most of the laws and policies that we have covered, even if you wanted to, which, of course, you do not. The third guiding principle is go to your lighthouse. Whenever you're in doubt about anything, seek out a member of the Kairos leadership team or a very experienced Kairos volunteer. They will help you to assess any confusing or challenging situation and will help guide you through it with confidence that the right thing is being done. When in doubt, don't do something. Go to your lighthouse and make sure you are doing the right thing. This concludes our series of CMF Kairos security briefings. You can now be confident that you are well prepared to enter the prison and minister safely and securely to the men in blue and to make your best possible contribution to this special ministry we call Kairos, or God's special time.